Hello everyone and welcome back to more Norwich City bouncing back. It's the start of Season 8. It's the transfer special. We have made some major moves which I hope will help the squad to really push on from where we improved to last season and at the very, very least keep up the consistency that we have enjoyed since returning to the Premier League. So without further ado then, let's get straight into the transfers and starting as ever with our released players and the main name in there, the big name in there. James Tarkowski has gone. Well, I mean, it's been coming for a while. His physical attributes are now absolutely awful. I think he's just he was a very, very good player for us. These 3 seasons here, he was an absolute stalwart at the back, very, very reliable, and only £5.5 million. For me, he is the player who his attributes are outstanding, and yet the way the game sort of assesses him is always really bad. So, yeah, I think he probably fell off a bit sooner than he otherwise would. But, yeah, fantastic player, and we wish him well. But as to the other outs, there's been quite a lot. We have had a bit of a clear out. Not quite to the level of as I maybe thought, but I think, in terms of making room for some young players, we've certainly done that. So, the first departure for money, Finlay Robertson, has gone. He has been here for a while, never really played all that much, and he's joined Blackburn for £8 million. They've been relegated to the Championship in the end. I mean, he's a potential player we could maybe get back one day. He is club trained, which is of course a very nice thing. Very well-rounded player, very solid player, just not maybe quite the level that we really need. We have also sold Taylor Oakes as well. Again, a similar situation. Just needed to make room for other players. He wasn't going to really play that much. Of course, he is a young player. He's only 22. He is club trained as well. Potentially someone we could get back in the future. I just think Ryan Davis is a bit of a better option for us. He's good. There's a lot of nice attributes here. I just think Ryan Davis has a bit of a higher ceiling. He has gone to Brentford. He had a successful time on loan at Bristol City last season, but he's gone to Brentford for £13.75 million. I reckon we could have got a bit more from that. We do have a sell-on clause. He's already scored in his first game, so this may well come back to bite us. He's going on the shortlist, and yeah, maybe one day we can get him back if he becomes really, really good. I'm looking at his attributes now and I'm thinking we've made a bit of a mistake. This one, though, I don't think is a mistake. Reece Nelson, who is probably the second worst transfer that we've made since Callum Wilson anyway, coming second in that list, has gone. He's gone to Wolves, 17 million. The fact that we've been able to recover anything at all, I will take. Not a very good time on loan at Southampton. Slightly better than what he did in the season with us. Yeah, he's gone. We also say farewell to Harry Winks as well. He's 31 years old and he's gone to Sheffield United for £11.5 million. A very slight loss on what we paid, but again, just a very steady, solid player. In his first season, he was really very fantastic. He then, of course, had his ankle broken, I believe, right towards the end of the season. He never really particularly recovered from that. A decent season after that, but then he sort of lost his place in the team as we signed Lewis Cook. So yeah, just kind of, he's been the backup for a while. We've upgraded there, so he was the one to move on, but we do wish him well. And now getting into the bigger departures of players who've been here for a very long time, and well, this man has been here for his entire career, save for a brief loan spell in Holland. Todd Cantwell has gone. He's gone to Wolves as well. They've picked up 2 of the wingers that I didn't want. £29 million is, I think, a pretty good deal. He's a player who, on his day, was fantastic. His attributes are really good, but the consistency of the performance was never really there. You can see even in the Championship, he got 15 goals and 6 assists, but he didn't get above a 7 rating. It's the lack of consistency that's an issue, and his rating was never very good in the Premier League. Some okay seasons here or there when he was mostly coming off the bench, but nothing spectacular, and ultimately he just became such a liability, costing us games. The amount of points he has directly cost because of some stupid pass he's played in the 89th minute, it's uncountable. So he's gone. Good luck to you, Todd. He's only 29, but yeah, we don't need him anymore. And then the biggest departure of all, the biggest departure of the entire save, really, in terms of stature, in terms of fee, in terms of the fact that he is a club icon as well. The fans were not happy about this one at all. It got an F rating, but I think it's probably quite sensible. Emi Buendia has departed. He's 30 years old now. we've got 43.5 million from Arsenal, considering that we did accept a bid of 63 million from Barcelona last summer, only for him to reject the contract. I reckon that's probably the most we're ever going to get for him. He obviously is a very, very good player. His season in the Championship was outstanding. 23 assists in one season is insanely good. Brilliant first season in the Premier League as well. 17 goals was spectacular. His return ever since has been less and less. Still okay, and he didn't play much last season. He still got 2 goals and 4 assists. But again, much like Cantwell, it kind of got to the point where he was just kind of more of a liability than anything else, with both missed chances and just giving the ball away. So I think now was the time to cash in. It's a big chunk of change from Arsenal. Again, we do wish him well. He's very popular with the fans, but I think it was time for him to move on. So those were the departures. Well, what about the ins? Well, we've signed 3 players that I think significantly upgrade the starting 11. As you can see, because of those sales, we do still have 63 million to spend, which we may well spend, but I think probably not this summer. And we're saving it for future transfer windows with, well, one specific player in mind, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let's see the players who we have actually signed. We've spent a lot of money, but I think really that's kind of what's going to happen when you're only signing British and Irish players. They are expensive. English players in particular, very, very expensive, as we've found throughout this entire time. And our first big money regen signing is this man here. Peter Vernon joins us from Middlesbrough for £40 million. It could potentially rise to 60 million. A lot of that potential depends on how many games he gets for England, and as the England manager, I can just not play him. I think it's 20 games, so we just give him 19 caps if we want, and then just never give him a 20th cap. I think if we are giving him anywhere near 20 England caps, then it'll be money well spent. But he's just a very good option, I think, who's probably going to be starting for us on the left wing. That's been a bit of a problem position for us for a few years now, certainly last season, and I think this man could be the one to solve the problem. Bags of potential, 5-star potential, still lots of room to grow. Has been at Middlesbrough since he was generated into the game. Had a pretty good season last year, 5 goals, 9 assists in the Championship is not bad out of 31 games, and there's a lot to like here really. The flair is good, the off the ball is good, technique of 17 is really nice too. Physically he's very quick, but the most important thing in terms of how we are playing is that finishing of 14, composure of 13. We now have, with him and David Brooks, we have got 2 wingers who are quick, good at dribbling, technically proficient, and can actually put the ball in the back of the net. Also joining us, and at the age of 27, along with Peter Vernon, bringing the average age of the squad down just a little bit, is Jamie Shackleton. He joins us from Everton for £45 million, a slight increase of 5 million there. Again, could rise to 60 million depending on international appearances, things like that. Of course, he starts the game at Leeds United, spent a long time at Watford, and last season at Everton had a really solid year as well. 9 assists, 3 goals. Considering the position he plays in central midfield, that's pretty good. He is going to be playing for us principally. He's a very versatile player, can play at right back as well, but principally I'm going to be playing him in the deep line playmaker role. While his passing vision of 15 and 15 is very good, it's not quite as good as Lewis Cook's, but what he has over Lewis Cook is a bit more defensive now, a bit more sort of overall mental attributes, ability and so on. Is a bit quicker as well than Lewis Cook, so I think he's probably going to be the starter for us. Again, a bit of an upgrade in some areas over Cook. And then of course we can bring Cook on if we need some passes from deep late on to unlock a defence, then he's a good option to bring on. But I think Jamie Shackleton is who we're going to go with from now on. And lastly, we've made a really very good signing indeed. Those 2 players have brought the average age of the squad down. This one doesn't quite, he's 29 years old. But I think you'll agree it's probably worth it. We have been able somehow to sign Fikayo Tomori from Chelsea. If you watch the Chelsea save on the channel, you will know that this is a player I like very much indeed, and very irritated as a Chelsea fan that we've not sold him, but loaned him to AC Milan in real life with an option to buy. Not happy with that one at all, but I'm very happy we've got him here, and it's cost us 50 million. Again, it could rise to 70 million, but again, a big chunk of that is him playing for England. But well, we'll talk about it in a minute. He's definitely going to be playing for England, but yeah. Centre-back's been an issue for us. Finding a partner for Chris Mepham has been a problem. Ethan Ampadu on paper should be spectacular. He's anything but. Hayden Roberts, we brought him in last year, did a solid job, but he's not quite at the level we really need. We need someone reliable, dependable to play alongside Mepham, and this is the man for it. Really, I think the best possible option we could get. 16 tackling is fantastic. Everything else is very solid. The heading, marking, the passing, positioning, composure and concentration. He's 29. He's in his prime as a centre-back. To pay this amount of money for a 29-year-old centre-back, that's not a bad investment. He is going to be in his prime for the next few years. And considering we're aiming to really only go 10 seasons, that's absolutely fine. He is an elite centre-back, and you can see why. The fact that Chelsea have let him go at all, considering he's an academy graduate, is inexplicable. But then they've done it in real life, and it's inexplicable in real life, really. So, yeah, I mean, they have a lot of other players, I guess, and they can afford to lose a centre-back of his quality. A 7.2 rating in each of the last 3 years that's the kind of player we need. And I talked about England, international appearances, increasing fees and all that sort of stuff. Well, I mean, I want to just look at this for a second. We are, of course, the England manager as well, and this is the lineup that I principally go with for England. Normally with Jadon Sancho in instead of Michael Hansen, but he's injured from the latest squad. But the point I want to make is that James Maddison, I love James Maddison. Hamza Chowdhury, I love Hamza Chowdhury, very reliable. Max Aarons as well. Dean Henderson, to an extent. Those are all good players. Those are all players who are in the England squad, but they are in the England squad. The only player that we have in the England starting lineup is the one we've just signed, Fikayo Tomori. He is a nailed-on starter for England. So the fact that we've been able to get him for a quite reasonable price is quite shocking, but also really very good. So we have spent quite a lot of money, over 150 million really. It could be well over 200 million once the other things are taken into account. But I think money well spent. So yeah, let me know what you think of the transfers down below, and don't forget to like the video while you're there as well, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. But we will see how those new signings get on today, get involved in the action, as we will be playing the first game of the season against Fulham, and then I will bring you the goals and best of the action in the Super Cup against Manchester United. We're not going to do it in the full thing because we're probably going to lose. We were in the Super Cup before and it was against Chelsea and we lost, so obviously we've been drawn against Man United in this one. I say drawn, obviously it's because they won the Champions League. But anyway, Fulham up first. Let's see how we can do. Pre-season has been very good. Admittedly, I'm not necessarily playing the highest calibre of teams, as I mostly just want the players to get fit and get used to putting the ball in the back of the net. But still, some good, solid performances. Oh, and we have made one more signing as well. Murray Fallon joins us from Hamilton for 4.1 million. Basically, he's got a lot of potential, and I wanted to get him ahead of Arsenal because they bid for him as well. Not really particularly finished article at the moment, but could be quite good in the future. So then, Fulham, we're one of the last teams to play. Man United have already lost, as have Chelsea. Let's see if we can steal the march on them already. And the team for this one then, I'm not 100% sure of who I want to be playing up front. Everything else I'm settled on, but I'm not sure about up front. We also have a few injuries to the bench players. Aaron Hickey is injured. Ryan Davies injured as well, which is a bit annoying. Neither of them particularly serious as well. We have sold quite a few players. We've only bought 3 players in. I want to make just a bit more room for the regens, particularly Davis and Hitchman, to have a bit more game time. We've got a lot of very versatile players. Dele Alli, very versatile, can basically play in the entire front 6 positions. Dominic Solanke as well can of course play in the entire front 3 positions as well. It's good to have that level of versatility in the squad. Players who are perhaps surprisingly still here. Ethan Ampadu, we did have a bid for him. I did accept it. He rejected the move. To be honest, as he can play in midfield too, he's kind of a useful guy to have around. So I'm not 100% against it, especially now he won't be starting. Oh, right, before we do the lineup, this is very professional. I said I was going to talk about another player I wanted to sign. The other player I would quite like to sign, really to improve the right wing, is a sort of long-term replacement for David Brooks. Just a bit of an upgrade on Marcus Edwards. This guy here, we've got Noam Salomon, who plays for Newcastle United. He is 19 years old, and I think he looks very good. Physically fantastic. Really the perfect player for the right-hand side for us. He's got decent finishing. Everything else is pretty good. The reason we haven't signed him is because he's too expensive. They don't want to sell him, and we can't afford him at the moment. But we're scouting him. We're watching him. We're going to see if we can sort of unsettle him a bit and get him to be particularly interested in making a move, force Newcastle's hand a little bit, and maybe get him in January, but more likely next summer. Anyway, back to the game. The team for this one then is going to be as follows. Dean Henderson, of course, is going to be in goal. Lewis, Tomori, Mepham and Aarons is now the defence. That seems to me like a pretty solid defence. Jamie Shackleton is going to be anchoring the midfield. Hamza Chowdhury and James Maddison are going to be ahead of him. Peter Vernon comes in on the left-hand side. All three of our new signings making their debuts. David Brooks is going to be on the right-hand side. And then the issue for me is striker. Now, obviously, Murray McCunny started last season, did pretty well, then trailed off horrifically. Dominic Solanke did okay, very versatile player, of course, as we said, mostly played as a winger, but was actually our top scorer. And then there's Adam. Adam is unhappy, he wants to leave the club, and yet he scored the winner that got us into the Champions League in the Europa League final last time. So I don't know who to go with. So we're going to operate mostly a sort of winner stays on policy. If you score, you stay in the team. If not, you get dropped. Murray McCunny has scored the most goals in pre-season, so he gets to start up front. One of the things we want to try and do is rotate a bit more this season, I think, to try and avoid burnout. And we have made one slight tactical tweak as well. Basically, Fikayo Tomori and Chris Mepham both going to be playing as central defenders on defend, because we're playing out from the back. They've both got good passing anyway. If we play them in that role, that'll also hopefully focus their minds on defending without sort of inhibiting their passing out from the back particularly. Anyway, let's get into the actual game then, shall we? Fulham have been promoted back to the Premier League. They've got Alexander Golovin. Otherwise, it's looking like quite a youth player or regen dominated side. But I'm expecting a win today. We've got quite a good record on the opening day, and newly promoted side, albeit away from home, you should be expecting us to win this one quite comfortably. Right, can we continue on from the high of winning the Europa League? We are, of course, in the Champions League. That'll be coming up next time. Some group stage action against someone terrifying, no doubt. But let's get to a winning start in our first league match. A great opening 16 minutes. Nothing happening at all. We're going to demand a little bit more. Still nothing. I think I'm not going to go positive right now. Actually, no. I'm going to go positive right now. Peter Vernon's got a bit of an injury, tight Achilles. That's not too bad. Well, we've gone positive. We finally got a highlight, literally in injury time at the end of the first half. Nothing else happening. Murray McCunny nods it on straight to Fulham. And are we gonna, get this back, or are we gonna be hit on the counter? Vernon goes in. He's not worried about his Achilles at all. Makes the challenge, and now hopefully our new centre back pairing can not muck this up. Vernon racing on a little bit. Looks a little bit lethargic out there. We worked it nicely out to David Brooks on the right hand side. He's got a lot of work to do. Lays it back to Max Aarons. Where's the cross going to come from? There it is. Vernon's there. Oh, look at that. Beautiful finish. He's not worried about his Achilles at all. Fantastic finish from Peter Vernon. What I like about that, he started that move. He won the ball back, set us away, and now he has then gone and scored it. I mean, it's a lovely dinked finish past the goalkeeper. Not picked up at all. Absolutely brilliant finish from Peter Vernon on his debut, and we take the lead at a brilliant time right before the break. We do have quite a good record of our new signings scoring on their debuts. I mean, David Brooks did it last year. I think Dele Alli did it. Right, an hour gone. We're still on positive. I'm going to stop that. We're going back to balance. There's some players not having a great game. Murray McCunny's not doing amazingly well. In fact, most people aren't doing amazingly well. Now Peter Vernon is a bit tired because of his injury. We'll take him off. I'm going with Dele Alli out on the left hand side, showing his versatility. We'll keep everyone the same for now. Nothing else happening really. We've reached the 86th minute though, so you know what that means. It means quite simply we're going to shut the game down, because I still don't trust them. As now we've got Fikayo Tomori, I'm more hopeful, but I still don't trust them. And there we go. I mean, that's really for me a textbook Football Manager game. Not interesting at all. One highlight, and that highlight was us scoring. They've had more chances than us. We've not done particularly well, but we've been very clinical and we've won the game, and that is the most important thing. Ellie over here, she absolutely gets it. That's what having clinical finishes can do for a team. Great result, absolutely. We can do that more often. That's for me. Again, I'm sorry, it's not the most. That wasn't the most interesting game, but as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very sorry that I principally emulate Jose Mourinho, as far as I'm concerned, if you score one goal and then don't concede, you win the game. It's as simple as that. Right, the Super Cup, being a brief bit of action in this one, Murray McCunny didn't score, didn't play well, so quite simply, that means that Adam is going to be getting the start for this one. Anthony Martial not playing for them, which is obviously good news. We can't have him scoring against us. Well, we nearly scored down the other end. Peter Vernon nearly scored. Chris Mepham, as you can see there, made a fantastic clearance, but it wasn't, well, particularly far. And then Martin Odegaard has just done that, which not sure you can really that's not really anything to do with the defence, really, is it? Oh well, Man United down to 10 men in the second half. Drew Warburton, who's a regen left back, from Everton, nearly called him up for England. He's just been given a straight red card. We've not done anything from the free kick though. This game, I think, is getting away from us. Into the final 10 minutes, the XG, the shots on target, we have dominated this game, and we are going to be very unlucky if we lose it. We're going for it much more to see if we can find a breakthrough. Solanke on the left-hand side lays it off to Greg Taylor. Can we find a goal? Adam Eder cleared off the line by Leon King. Final few minutes of injury time. I don't really know what else more we can do. We've got 2.15 XG, 9 shots on target, 19 shots overall. The fact we've not got an equaliser is horrendously unlucky. We have gone for this. We've done really well. They do not deserve to win this, but then I suppose we didn't deserve to beat Fulham. And at the end of the day, that's more important. It's a 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. But we can hold our heads high. That was a really good performance, and we probably should have got something from it. The officials from UEFA, again, they've got the red glass. What are they wearing red glasses for? We'll never understand that. Anyway, Man United, I would say well done, but that would be a lie. Right, I am going to say, though, I'm very pleased with your performance out there, because they were really good. We should not really have lost that game. We deserved to get something from it. But anyway, there we go. The search for the Super Cup goes on, albeit not particularly hard, because I don't really care about it very much. But anyway, that is that for today. It's a good opening win in the league, if nothing else. And we will be back next time for, well, I guess sometime sort of September, October, Champions League action, whenever I don't even know where the Champions League is going to be. Looks like we are starting in October. So yeah, that's going to be when we come back. Some sort of Champions League action. First game, second game, whichever one looks the most interesting. But anyway, that is going to be that for today. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you next time.